14 years ago, you graced us with your soul, and to be a father now felt so wonderful.
What's up, everybody? Thank y'all so very much for tuning in today. Before we get started, I just like to tell all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. I know each year a lot of us feel like we're not necessarily celebrated or appreciated, but I want to personally tell you that you are and that you are valued, and don't ever forget that. The reason we're here today is just to really discuss and talk about my upcoming project, or the project that I just released called Forgive Me. It was basically a song that was written to my son. I'm in the process of me and his mom actually divorcing. We dealt with a lot of pain, a lot of issues, and I just felt like from my perspective, I needed to ask for his forgiveness. And I composed that song, and that's why we're here. I'm here actually with my man Timothy Jackson today, and we both, I guess I could say, we both love fatherhood. So once again, happy Father's Day. Much love.
Fathers are people who dream for their kids. So fatherhood is definitely a blessing. And I would say for myself, for my 4 kids, that I am very blessed that they are in my life. And I hope that they feel blessed that I'm in their lives, because I've been there with them from day one, and I'm never gonna leave.
Fatherhood means you're nurturing your child, you're preparing them for the world, especially a man, preparing them for the responsibilities, the fear, the doubt, the struggle, just being able to be a man and deal with everything that comes with it. As a father, you nurture your child and prepare them for this world. It's something that every kid needs.
One of the most memorable moments that I've had as a father was my son actually being born. When he was born, the feeling is completely indescribable. But I guess I was probably more or less just shocked that God would give me the opportunity to be able to bring someone like this into the world.
I remember the day my son was born. When he came out, I was the first man to see him, the first one to hold him.
Wow.
When I took him up and raised him in my arms, and I was like, only God is above you. And I spoke scripture over him and basically dedicated my son and hold him in my hand, and you saw my, like, I can see his future, and I wanted it to be great. That was the very first moment. And I'm like, hold on, I'm here. I'm a daddy, I got a son. I got a spitting image of myself, and he's in my hand, and I get to help him and guide him and mold him. At that moment, it all hit, it was surreal. And I'm like, okay, I gotta do this, and I gotta do it well.
I would say my definition of fatherhood is just being responsible, being accountable, being a leader, really modeling what a man should look like, how he should carry himself, going to work every day, instilling ethics and values into your children so they can actually become productive citizens, have influence, have understanding of what their job is to be to their children, when they have children. So I think that would be it.
Definition of fatherhood. You know what? Teaching your children to be better than you. That's grooming them to be better than you. That's fatherhood. Like, I don't really see how it can be anything else. Like, that's it, man. And that's love. That's everything. Like, that's everything, man. Just teaching them to be better than you. That's it to me.
My father is still my hero. I want to be. I believe I still am a hero to my own son. My dad never really raised his voice. He just talked. But when he had to talk, that's because Mama already yelled. And she said what she needed to say. So when Dad got there, he had to get involved. You listen. And so to be able to do that to my son and give my son the same amount of respect and honor and to be there and be present, that's what it is. My dad became my hero. Those moments I will never ever forget. And when I was down, my dad was there. Dad, he knew he felt it. Something ain't right. He prayed for me. He sent what I needed financially. He gave me a kind, encouraging word. Even if I couldn't say it and I couldn't explain it, he knew. And he encouraged me even to this day, like, son, I see you. I know what you've gone through. I know what you're dealing with. You persevere. You're still dealing with it. Don't stop. Don't give up. You know, that's my coach. That's my hero. That's that guy. That's my dad.
Right. You know, music has always been a very, very important part of my family. So a lot of my most memorable moments are surrounding being able to listen to music with my father. He's actually an accomplished bass player. So we did a lot of singing together, my family as a whole, quartet style singing, you know, throughout the area that I lived in or what have you. But as I got older, one of the things that I really, really grew to appreciate about my father is his open-mindedness and the ability to be able to go to him and talk to him about anything, to not feel judged, but just being able to have a listening ear and always offering an honest perspective. You know, he never, even in his listening, you know, he always told me the truth. So yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
My daddy was like the neighborhood daddy, you know. Actually, my brother and I were the only kids on our street that had a daddy in the house. So he was the daddy for all of the kids in the neighborhood. My daddy was strict, but I didn't understand what he was doing was establishing boundaries. And as a result of him being hard on my twin brother and I, we the only kids on that street that never been to prison. The only kids on there that ain't on drugs, and the only ones that's not dead. And you know, that's sad to say, but we grew up in a war zone. I feel that if I could be half the dad that my daddy was, if I could have half the impact that he had, then I think I've done damn good. I'm standing on my daddy's shoulders. So it affects it because I had an example. You know what I mean? Not an example of what not to do, but I had an example of what to do. And a lot of us, especially in the black community, can't really say that. And I didn't always appreciate how rare that is.
My dad stayed on the road a lot, you know what I mean? So he drove tour buses. So he was there, but just gone, you know what I mean? So, you know, I just trying to get the bread, man, doing what they do. It's funny that, because me and my wife was having this conversation maybe a couple days ago. I find myself burying myself in what I do. Even though I'm there, sometimes it can be like I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? So I have to, me knowing how my dad was and not seeing the correlation, that it's like, all right, I have to balance. I had to find that balance, you know, and not get so buried in what I'm doing, and tend to my kids, man, like, cause they need us, man. I can tell I know they need it. I feel it, and I know it. Just I'm their dad, you know what I mean. So of course they're gonna need me, but you know, it's us. We be having our own things as far as doing what we need to do for them. And man, that time is crucial, man. So, yeah, man, it's some similarities. I can see it, but it's a good thing I'm able to catch it, you know, and pull them away and pull myself away from what I'm doing and spend that time with them.
Being a father has changed me so much. I mean, in ways that I probably never would have been able to comprehend. One of the ways that it changed me is it made me more responsible. Definitely made me want to be more accountable for my actions, not just even with family members, my son, but even with individuals that I deal with, you know what I mean, on a daily basis. It definitely softened my heart. More compassion, more empathy. You know, one of the things that I try to do with my son, on a consistent basis, is I like to give him a voice and give him an opportunity, you know, when we're addressing certain issues or talking about certain things, to not feel like he does not have an opinion. I always, offer that to him because I think that's how you build in authenticity. But also you allow them to be truthful. I stress that with him, tell me the truth. Even if you feel like you're gonna get in trouble, even if you feel like, I'm gonna be disappointed, which I may, like being honest is always the best policy. So these things have definitely just, overall have made me not just teaching him those things, but have also made me better in those areas as well.
Being a father made me do what people say we don't do. It made me man up.
Man up, wow.
Being able to man up, this is my responsibility, not just financially. The way of thinking, the examples, the teaching. My dad was a teacher as well.
Gotcha.
So the teaching, to look back at my son and see that he understands. When he can repeat to me what it is that I said, then I know he knows. I know he understands. I know I made it through to him, if you can say verbatim. So it made me man up. It made me realize that I have to be here. I have to be accessible. I have to be close enough. I have to be at the schools. I have to be encouraging. I have to be firm. I have to be loving, and I can't let him quit. I can't let him quit. It's important to actually know that regardless of what we go through, what I've been through, I can't quit because I don't want him to quit. And yes, it's gonna be tough. There's that saying that anything worth having is worth fighting for. We don't really want to fight, but at the same time, if you fight, you will value that journey. When you look back at it, like, okay, if I quit, I would never see what I saw. You would never have what you can obtain.
Right.
If you quit, short of. And the crazy thing is someone also said that just before you get to your goal, it gets a little bit tougher.
Right.
So to keep that in mind, my son, sometimes he don't understand, and then later on when he's got an A, or he's got first place ribbons coming, and he realized how excruciating it was and what he had to go through, and Dad, you woke me up too early and all the other stuff. Right. Now you see why. Now here's your progress report. Right. Now these are your awards. These are your trophies. That type of thing. So it made me want to continue to, it made me man up. Now I can own the fact that I helped guide him. And if I've done right, when his turn comes, he will do the same exact thing. My reward won't come until hopefully he's established, but he'll know and he'll understand, and I can look back, okay, great job, son.
Right.
You got this.
Right.
And I've done my part.
Right.
So that's what made me want to do.
Not giving up is one of the things I stress with him on a consistent basis. What? Actually, when he was a kid, I used to say to him all the time, Dad, I can't. I was like, can't. We don't ever say can't. Can't. Right. Not, that's a, and he still to this day remembers, like, we don't, that's out in our vocabulary because everything is possible. But, I just recently completed my bachelor's degree in social work, and it took me 15 years to get it. But over the course of these 15 years, one of the things that I was proud of in the situation is that he could see me persevere. You know what I mean? He was there, from the beginning, and as he got older, and I was able to express and talk about the situation. But he could see his father, like 15 years, people give up, people stop. But he saw me not just talking about not giving up, but he saw me actually persevering. And I'm also always, like I'm telling him, I like to stress, like, when you start something, finish it. You know what I mean? Regardless of how boring it may get or you may lose interest, when you start something, you finish it. So he's able to see that. So I was very, very proud for him to be able to see that example. And, hopefully he'll continue to carry that on as he matures and grows as a young man as well.
Man, them affirmations,
yes.
My son used to tell me, I would have him say, this when you first started school. I am powerful.
Wow.
I am smart.
Right.
I am strong.
Right.
I can do this. These are things I used to tell him. And so
beautiful.
when he would sit at the table and he couldn't figure this out, we were working on math problems. I can't remember what it was. I would never forget that day he said, Dad, you said I am smart. You said I am handsome.
Wow.
You said I'm a child of God. This is what he said to me.
Back to you. Wow.
Yes, you are.
Wow.
Now show me exactly why it is I said what I said. Why you regurgitated that to me.
Right.
And he did.
Wow.
And it impressed me so much. And that let me know, okay, he's listening.
Yeah.
They're watching.
They are watching and listening. You are absolutely correct.
If you ain't there, they ain't gonna get it. But if you there, they're watching and they're listening. Matter of fact, if you're not there, they're still watching and listening.
Watching and listening. Absolutely.
So yeah, man.
Yeah. Wow. Very powerful.
As a young man, my relationship with my father was pretty much non-existent. I think he pretty much abandoned me. As a kid, I remember going past his house on my way to football practice every day. And a lot of times I see him out in the yard, he wave, I wave back, I just keep it moving. But he didn't come to any of my games, practices, school events, nothing.
Me and my father's relationship is poor when it comes to communication and being around each other and being able to coexist. Our relationship isn't that well. Mentally, it affects you a lot. It makes you feel like you have to grow up faster, especially when you have younger siblings, so you feel like you have to be more of a father figure to them because that's something you didn't get. So it affects the way you think, the way you act, the way you see life.
Pops wasn't there. I met him later in life. My earliest memories I've seen in pictures and stuff like that. Seemed to be there, he was loving, that type of thing, but after he left, it was just mom. So the things that I didn't learn from dad, like just, you know, how to talk to a woman or how to stay committed to something, you know, those things weren't there. I didn't get those lessons till later in life. So I pretty much say that's how I was affected by him not being there. It's like I didn't get the lessons that I should have gotten early enough in life.
So Tim, you mentioned that your father was very much present in your life, throughout your life. What would you say to the individuals whose fathers were not present during their childhood or even now as adults?
I involuntarily wasn't always in my child's life. I've seen both sides.
Gotcha.
I didn't not want to be there. Circumstances pushed me away.
Mm-hmm.
The system pushed me away.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be in a situation, I grieve. I've grieved over the last 5 years specifically.
Wow.
Because I was there and I experienced being there. I experienced the first bottles. I experienced performances at school. I experienced cancer. I experienced the fights. I experienced those things.
Wow.
And then to have that taken away and feel like nowhere to turn, I grieve because that's something I had become accustomed to. And then I have a son now, and I see him every day. I see his accomplishments. You know, that's like not being there is, you still think about it. That's the thing. I still think about my child every day. When I see the craziness in the world, you hear about the shootings in the schools, you hear about people being abducted.
Right.
It's like I'm helpless. I can't get there, I can't be there. And then at the end of the day, I don't want to fight with your mama no more. I had got to a point and I told my child, I'm like, I can't keep fighting your mom over you. There's something you say, love from a distance. My phone number ain't changed, so my child can pick up the phone and call.
Right, right.
I'm not gonna change my number.
Right.
To not be there, like I said, they don't know what you're missing. Every accomplishment that I've been a part of, I've been there. I can say I was there. Every picture I have, I can say I was there.
Gotcha.
Every experience was there. Every cold, every time I wipe the nose, every time I change the diaper,
Right.
you don't know what you're missing.
Right.
And then when your child dresses their own self and they put on funny stuff, or my son, he used to put on my shoe. My big old shoe,
Right.
he run around putting my shoe
Right.
on.
I remember my son used to do that too.
They don't know, you don't
Right.
know what you're missing.
Right, right.
And when you can witness what you be like, I got it. And I know it ain't no easier to miss that, because it ain't easy. I know it.
Right.
It ain't easy not to be there.
Right.
So you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah, it's you know, I have several friends that I've spoken to over the years, and you know, been involved in their lives in situations where you know the other parent just you know, they were good fathers, wanted to be present, and the mom for whatever reason just made it very, very difficult. So I definitely understand that side of it as well. I think it's unfortunate. You know, I would say to any individual out there in that situation, continue to persevere. Just be faithful. Stay strong and know that, you know, if your heart is in the right place and you're doing the right things, I always believe that good things happen to good people, you know, so regardless of how long it may take, if you're trying to get custody, if you're trying to have a relationship with that child, just keep pushing, have the faith, and, you know, I'm of the belief that at some point what you're designed to have will manifest.
There's no perfect manual per situation, circumstance that says this is the kind of man, the kind of father you're supposed to be.
Right.
There's no blueprint. Sometimes hands-on training is what, matter of fact, hands-on training is what we all need. Unfortunately, some of us have been robbed of that.
Right.
I think because my father wasn't around, I didn't have a role model. I didn't have a guide to kind of show me how to be a man, what a father was supposed to do for his children. And because of that, I think I failed in several areas, you know, when I was younger, because I didn't really know any better. Didn't have any guidance. So I think I made a lot of mistakes with my children. You know, did the best that I could, but I think I could have done a lot better if I had a father that really showed me, you know, what a man was supposed to do, how he's supposed to carry himself, and most importantly, how he should take care of his children.
All right, with my father not being there, it kind of shaped me as a father. I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. The oldest is 31, the youngest is 14. So it made me want to be there for them more and look out for them, to let them know that there was a father there, you know, and they didn't have anything to worry about. And not that I worried, because my mother did a good job, but when you don't have that father figure there, it makes a difference, especially being a black male wanting to talk to someone and, you know, be around someone who's gone through some of the things that you've gone through. So that was a major influence on me for my kids.
As an adult male, I kind of matured a little bit, and I had to take a considerate approach of it. You know, it's like, well, if he wasn't blind, would it be different? And, you know, since he was blind, was it the best that he could do? As I got older, I took it as, you know, I didn't want my kids to grow up to be that same way or have to deal with it or do the same thing that happened with my father. So I tried to be as close to my kids as possible.
But I apologize. Forgive me for singing this song with tears in my eyes. The pain that I caused, son, I know you hear inside. I know you hear inside.
One of the topics or areas that the song is dealing with is forgiveness. And I felt like it was very, very important to deal with that. One, because it was a situation that was very real to me in relation to my son. Again, you know, his mother and I had gotten a divorce, and, you know, I sensed for some months after that there was a lot of hurt and a lot of pain that he was not necessarily talking about, that he was kind of stuffing down and hiding. There was a lot of pain that I figured out that I hadn't even, you know, dealt with within the situation or what have you. And I think that, well, not even think, I know that forgiveness, when you get to a point or a place of forgiveness, it releases you, you know what I mean? When you haven't forgiven someone or someone hasn't forgiven you, it's bondage, you know what I mean? And I know for him to be able to move beyond, for me to move beyond where I was emotionally, spiritually, physically even, that's something that we had to deal with. I just took it upon myself to deal with it the best way I knew how, and that was through song. You know, I'm a songwriter, composer, what have you, and I just felt like that would be the most effective means to address the forgiveness aspect of that. The funny thing about it is, when I was writing the song, or once I finished writing the song and he was listening, and I was like, I wrote this song because it was a letter to you to ask for your forgiveness. He was like, Dad, I've already forgiven you. You know what I mean? And that floored me. You know what I mean? But again, I thought it was necessary again, just so you would know from my heart standpoint that like I'm really serious about this. So I just want to tell you like how much I really love you, how much I appreciate you. Like you embody the qualities that God has blessed you with. You are mannerable, you're very intelligent. I think you're very real. What you see is what you get. You're a pleasant soul. And I think you share love and you show your love to the utmost of your abilities. So I just want to let you know that as a son.
I love you as a dad and how you handle me and handle how to take care of me, handle situations with me, and try to talk out situations. Like after you and my mom split, how you handled the situation and tried to talk to me about it and help me with it. And I just love you for having try to help me through the situation and make me feel better about the situation and not see it as the worst thing in the world.
The grace that you've handled the situation with, because I know it's been very difficult, for myself as well. But you definitely have persevered, and I just know, like, as you grow into your manhood, that when you get ready to get married at some point and you get ready to have kids, that you're gonna be a wonderful father. Because I know what's in you, and I know who you are.
I really like the song, and it touched my heart with how you express yourself. Asking for forgiveness and how you wanted to apologize for everything that happened. You came at it with such affection for me after and trying to like calm me with the situation and make the situation to not seem as big as it actually was.
I mean, there were times in the studio when I was recording it that I couldn't even get through the vocal production because I was breaking down because it was just so, it was very, very touching. And my hope through this song with you that you did or you have forgiven me, but also as other young men that may be in your situation that can relate, they may be able to hear the song and they may move to a point of forgiveness and healing as well. And I just wanted you to feel the love, the compassion, and most of all to know as your father that my love will always be unfailing and I'm always have your back. Always have your back. That guy right here.
Someone said that forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you.
Right.
So for your son to tell you I've already forgiven you even before you got it off.
That's big.
Just tell you something.
Yeah.
When you wrote this song, that was your release.
Right, it was.
And at some point, I'm gonna be honest with you.
It was.
Our problem, because we carry these burdens, we literally carry these burdens. December 31st, 2020, I sent a text message to my daughter's mom. And I basically said, look, I'm not gonna keep doing this. I'm not gonna take this until 2021.
Wow.
I had got to a point, I'm not gonna continue to fight this battle.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I paused. I didn't go at it as aggressive as I needed to.
Gotcha.
But I realized it was killing me, like literally killing me. And it's not getting me any closer to my child. Let me release this. And by me releasing that, I was able to forgive myself.
Wow.
When I got to a point, it was like, there was nothing I could have did. I tried every avenue. I tried every possibility that I could. I've spent out here and there. You didn't have to go through all that. You didn't have to I didn't have to internalize it like I did.
Right.
And I didn't realize I was doing it. I'm doing it because I'm like, okay, this is for someone else.
Right.
This is so I can give my child something that I value.
Right.
And so I had to forgive me. But when I released that in 2020, it was a weight lifted. I literally had to release that. Her words was, move on. I ain't gonna move on because this is my child, but I'm gonna move forward. There's a difference.
You said it, forgive me, it's release, healing. That's what the song is all about, and that's exactly what it did for me. And I think that's what it did for my son.
A challenge that I had with me and my young people, because at one time they had to move out of state with their mom. And of course, being separated from your children for any length of time is a huge challenge. And that was a challenge for us because I didn't do the best job of communicating at that time. And they began to feel that maybe they would no longer be my priority. But over the years, we continued to stay in contact, and what actually healed it is the fact that we did stay in contact during these challenges. And what also healed it is me doing a better job of communicating. So forgiveness is important. Staying connected is important. Communicating is important. And I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to build the relationship with them, and they build the relationship with me that's stronger and better than it's ever been.
If you are looking for instant gratification as a father, you definitely won't get it. It's the long haul. So you have to be there from day one and continue to be there over and over again. Fathers are people who tell their kids that they love them and they want the best for them, and they exemplify that.
Fatherhood is the greatest gift you can give to any boy, any girl. It's a beautiful experience. It's underrated. It's a test, to be honest with you. It's one of the greatest tests, the greatest challenge any man can actually partake for himself.
So I'd like to thank everybody who agreed to be a part of this project, coming out and sharing your real, authentic experiences as fathers. Whether your father was in your life or not, whether you are presently in your child's life or not. I know that for some of you it might not have been easy, but I'm so very, very appreciative of you for doing that. And I'm looking for this project to, as people are able to see it, hoping that it will change lives and change perspectives and move people who may not necessarily be at a place of healing right now, that hopefully, it could push them in that direction. I also like to thank my man, Timothy Jackson, for his insight, his wisdom. He's a wonderful father, as you can see. Best wishes to you and all of your endeavors. The song, again, will be released, Forgive Me, will be released Father's Day. It will be released on all digital streaming platforms. If you want to find me where I'll be performing, or you find my music, my website is www.toniosmusic.com. My IG handle is @Tonio1379, and you can find me on Facebook at Antonio.Mcgaha. So again, thank each of you, and we just, as fathers, we want to continue to do what we know we need to do to make sure that we're raising our children, especially these young men, and creating better, greater fathers in the process. Forgive me, coming Father's Day. I hope you guys go support me. Appreciate you.
When your mom and I parted